Hey again. So there are some new things I wanted to talk to you about. I took a memo here so I didn't forget. I usually forget what I want to say, so here we go. In one of my earlier videos I showed you the aftermath of putting in the first phase's formula and when it would run down my body. That substance, it was called rubefacin. I actually asked the REGENIX people what that was, and they told me it was merely just a reaction that my skin was having to it, and the redness was actually my blood rushing to the epidermis. So it wasn't a big deal. They told me that they were going to use less formula or something like that from then on out. Also, you might have noticed I look a little different from some of my other videos, and that is a direct result of losing hair up here. So I'm kind of overcompensating for it. I kind of like it sometimes. I don't know. At least it feels like it takes away some of your attention, draws some of your attention away from this to another part of my face. Some people say they like it. I'm still not sure myself yet, honestly. So that, and if you haven't watched any of my other videos, I would like to ask that you check out my introduction video. I'll post it there. That should do it. And then you'll get to know a little bit more about me. Otherwise, if this is your first time watching me, these are videos that I've been posting about my journey through hair loss. I'll post a photo here. This is me 2.5 years ago, and I don't think that you'll see any signs, any indication that this person was about to lose their hair, but this is what has happened in the last 2.5 years. And I said in my introduction video, I had no indication no inkling whatsoever that I was losing my hair until the very end of last year, in around December 29th, 2015. I was just happened to be under a light that I guess managed to really emphasize how much I had lost. Things I wanted to say. Right now I am in my second phase. I'm actually well through it. I'm in the rounding out the second month of my second phase of the formula. It essentially does the same thing as the first phase, but you'll see later in my video I'll hold up some of the formula to the camera, and I think you can see, unfortunately I couldn't compare it because I was already out of the first formula. It basically looks the same as phase 1. It's a green liquid. It seems to be somewhat more diluted than the first phase's liquid. And it seems to more or less do the same thing, except when it falls onto my skin, if that ever does happen, it doesn't turn bright red. So I would imagine there's either less or no rubefacin in this stage's formula. What else did I want to say? Oh, and also at the second half of this video I wanted to show you a technique that I've learned. So if you are going to do the Regenexx treatment, I would like to ask that you at least even forward through the rest of this part of the video, just to see. You will find yourself kind of doing this sort of balancing counterweight act to keep the liquid on top of your head, but I found a way to make it pretty easy to keep it up there. And it just came from, practice of doing it every day. And I wish that someone would have said to me in the very beginning how much I'm basically, how much I'm overdoing it. And you don't need to be as delicate with the medication as I was being, and I'm sure more than likely you will too, because you'll be freaked out, and I was freaked out, and I'm still freaked out, but at least I'm getting used to it. So there are, I wanted to show some photos of what it looks like now. I spoke with the person that who does hair transplants, who Regenexx recommend. His name is Dr. Arash, I believe, Dr. Arash Mohebi. He's in Encino, California. He offers 2 types of treatments. The standard treatment where they literally cut out some of your head and use that donor area to place new hairs in the rest, you know, the receding parts. That surgery, the procedure, I mean, they're going to remove a piece of your head, so my understanding is that's essentially going to stretch your face out, if not significantly, then, you know, at least somewhat. I don't know if it would be noticeable, but I don't want to do it. I don't want to risk, you know, and then there comes a day when you decide, my hair looks fucking stupid, I don't want it, I just don't want it anymore. Then you shave it off and voila, there's a big scar on the back of your face. So everyone's going to know that at some point you actually wasted $10,000 on some surgery that you weren't happy with. So there's that too. That procedure costs $6 per hair. And originally, now my girlfriend is actually recommending it because I'm so broke, and now I think she's starting to see, you know, the consequences of what's been going on, and she's actually recommending now that I do the medical tourism journey to Thailand, because for that same price you could probably do twice as many grafts as you would be able to in, let's say, Beverly Hills, even including your airfare and stay in a place like Bangkok. Plus you're in Bangkok, so, you know, go hang out, go to the beach. What else do I want to say? Oh, and then there's the other surgery that they offer is the FUE. FUE is a micrograft. This isn't $6, this is $8. And literally, they remove one hair at a time and then place them in designated areas. So that's obviously more time consuming. And so I sent him in the following photos. You can see, and he appreciated that I sent him multiple pictures because he only asks, the office only asks that you send in a couple, but I didn't know what he needed to see, and we were going to be doing our consultation over Skype, so I wanted him to see as much of my scalp as possible. The areas that are really bad are right in the right overhead. I think that's the worst. Well, I mean, actually, the crown is getting the area between the crown and the vertex, I believe, where my bangs are. That seems to be the baldest. When I'm shining a light through it, as you can see in these pictures, you can see right through to my scalp, and so that wouldn't be too bad because it's at least not in my hairline. But my hairline is having a problem as well, especially when compared to the photo I showed you earlier. I'll show it again here, a little flash, and then you see the receding portion in the front. And also, I have what I call the triangles, which are these areas here. They form this little triangle on each side, and I have a chunk here and a chunk there. This chunk is a bigger chunk of hair, so I'm grateful to this chunk. I tend to talk to people this way because I have more hair there on this triangle. And you can see them in these photos pretty prominently, what I'm talking about. So there's like a line down the middle of my head that goes back, and then it comes this way and this way, and it forms triangles on both sides. So I asked Dr. Mohebi over Skype if he would be willing to consider like a discount, well, they told me that they offer financing through a third party. Now, that's fine and dandy. I mean, first of all, I'm not going to discuss how ironic it is to ask poor people to pay more, which is essentially what you're doing when you ask people to speak to third-party financing, because interests. So you're going to pay whatever the price that you were supposed to pay plus an additional 5, 6, 7% each month, and the interest rate fluctuates. So could be 20% one month, who knows? And maybe there's a cap, but still, a surgery that he recommended for me, because he does agree that I have male pattern baldness type 3, which I actually disagree with, because I'm losing it here, and I'll show you a picture of what type 3 looks like. I found this on Google image search. And it doesn't look like what I'm having. I'm having it literally all the way back on the sides, and where I really notice it is not so much how the light shines through, which is a problem, but the simple fact is, you see, I've been buzzing the sides of my hair, which really helps. It really, really, really helps, and I highly recommend you buzz your hair. But when it does grow, and I've actually had to buzz it twice. You saw, I posted a video earlier where I buzzed it. That was the first time I buzzed it. I've buzzed it since then 2 times, just a week ago again. And when it does start to get a little longer, like where it touches my ears, already at that stage, so it's still pretty short, you can see how much more volume is in this area than in this area. And it looks very weird. It looks like your hair is flat, which I'm not used to, because I usually blow dry my hair. It usually looks poofy and wavy, or it did, and me, I never ever been to a hair salon or a stylist or even a barber who didn't say, "Wow, you've got the best hair I've ever seen." I never hear that anymore. But so where you really notice it is not as much, I mean, yes, it's big, that you can see through to your scalp, that sucks, but where it's actually even worse is the fact that it's just like, there's nothing you can do. It just becomes, it's like flat. So you can compensate by keeping the sides and back even shorter. And it seems to work. It's an optical illusion. But I like it. I like it better anyway, and I feel better, which has been a massive thing. As soon as I shave my head, I tend to feel a lot. I shaved the sides and back, and I did shave around here with like a number 3, and I haven't done this part yet because I'm kind of freaked out about shaving the bangs. And here I've been doing a 2, and I already kind of want to do it again. And it does seem to really help with my depression, which is another thing. If you're interested in forming up some sort of a class action or signing a petition to get your health insurance to cover things like hair transplants, which they should, because it is absolutely a mental health issue. But, you know, They don't want to pay for it. Why would they want to pay for it? So it's expensive, but still, medical insurance is supposed to cover people's mental health. I mean, they can get you a therapist. Why can't they get you a hair transplant, which you need, or you could end up doing something to hurt yourself, which is something that I have up until buzzing my hair, actually, until about a week ago. Part of the reason why I haven't done any videos is because I've been so low, to the point where I had such a hard time even breathing. I went a couple of days without eating just because I couldn't manage it. And I am not someone who misses a meal, but I've never missed a meal. I'm 3 square a day, plus snacks, and I couldn't even manage it. I was so miserable and thinking about suicide every day for about 6 weeks, and I came close to doing it a few times, which brings me to another thing. So, I mean, I'm not even comfortable asking it. So, I can't afford this surgery. I can't. And I don't know when I'm going to schedule it for. I just started a new career. I entered into real estate. I officially told my agent, if you haven't watched me before, I'm an actor. It's my career, it's my end game. But I officially told my agent 2 weeks ago. I had her come over to my house, and she came over, and I told her about my hair and the depression that it's caused, and that I can't go out anymore. And it's the whole reason I came here to New Mexico, was so that I could get my career in order, but now I can't. But so I've just started a new career in real estate, and I'm just about to show my first open house at the end of this week. So that's good, that's positive, and that was keeping me distracted. I was also taking a lot of classes and having to do a lot of reading, which was especially hard when I was depressed. But I passed the tests, and so I'm ready to go. So maybe in the future I can afford this thing. I don't know, I hope. But I don't know if I'll get to that. I don't know if I'll survive it. If it gets any worse than it does, I don't know if I'll survive it. Because real estate is a little bit like acting. If you're a salesperson, you have to be cool with another person. You have to be able to talk to that person. And right now I have difficulty talking to anyone. I felt a little better after I buzzed it, though. I will say, I do feel a little better. I can talk to people now, sort of. But in closed doors, under the right lights. Anyway, I put it together a GoFundMe. So I know I only have 3 subscribers right now, and thank each of you. I appreciate it, really, I do. So if you could, so that was another thing. I asked Mohebi if he would be willing to give me a discount, and he said, talk to my marketing department. If you can't afford the financing, talk to the marketing department. They usually give 10% to people who can advertise for me. So he meant Instagram users, YouTubers. And I said, oh my God, I do. I just started a YouTube channel where I talked about my hair loss. And he's like, oh, okay, so let me check it out. So I gave him all of my information. I gave him this YouTube account, my Instagram that's associated, my Twitter that's associated. And they're like, yeah, you only have the 3 followers and you only have a couple 100 views per video, so this isn't going to work, sorry, you have to pay the full price, basically. I'm like, wow, you know, it's already costing $12,000, and really, I don't agree that I need 1,500 grafts. I think I need a lot more than that, because he was only talking about doing this portion, not the portion in the back, which is also really bad, and I'm not happy with that area as well. But he said 1,500 grafts, that's going to be $12,000. I just checked my account this afternoon, 640. Whoa. So, I don't know, if any of you would find in your hearts to just throw me a couple of bucks into my my GoFundMe, I can't tell you what that would mean to me. Here, I'll post a link right here, same place as the thing. And also, I wanted to show you Mcconaughey, right? He's the spokesperson for Regenexx. And so I know you're all wondering if I'm having results. They told me I wouldn't have results for the first 2 phases, because those are the phases where they're basically like cleaning your scalp. And you don't enter the third phase where you thicken the hair. It's literally the thickening, I think they call it the thickening process phase. So you wouldn't have any results until then. And also, he cleared up with me, what's his face at Regenix. They told me, you're not going to grow new hair. Straight up, he told me. You would never grow new hair. You would be lucky to, and also, it's not going to control hair loss. So if you're going to lose, if it's in your genetics to lose hair at your age, in your life cycle, then you're going to continue to lose hair, regardless of whether you're using the Regenexx process. So I mean, when I heard that, I was like, what the fuck am I paying for this for then? But I'm really going to stick through with it. I want to stick it out. I want to see where it goes, and I want to show you where it goes. But there hasn't really been any gains. I can't say there's been gains at all yet. And I'm about to reach a milestone where I send another hair sample, which I'm terrified of because I have to use hair from here, hair from there, hair from there, and hair from there. The vertex and the temples. So, and then this area, I mean, I basically got to choose between, I got to choose like 5 hairs of probably 50 in the whole area. So that's about like, basically I'm pulling out 10% of what's left. Not happy about that, but I have to do it. I have to do it in 2 weeks, because I have 5 weeks left of stage 2. And then I start to stage 3, hopefully, depending on the results of my my hair samples that I send them. I think that's all I wanted to tell you, except for also, yeah, Mcconaughey. He posted these videos. I'll show you here. He posted these videos late last year onto a YouTube account, trying to promote some some foundation, and he hasn't posted anything since. But this one, you can see on his hairline's kind of bad. It's about what mine is right now. And if he's the spokesperson, I'm wondering, like, when he's doing a role, is he wearing a piece? Or is he just constantly going in for procedures? I know he can afford it, but you tell me. I mean, I don't think that's a good hairline. Mine looks a lot better than that. So I wanted to be able to show what stage 2, the liquid, looks like. And unfortunately I don't have, come on, focus. I don't have the first one to compare it to. First phase is liquid, but I think if you've seen my other videos, you'll be able to tell right off the bat it's significantly less so green, which makes me think it's just a more diluted formula. and possibly it doesn't contain that that rubefacin. Is it focusing? Rubefacin, which is what made my skin flare out the way it did. I think I showed you in a photo what that looked like. And also, you should be able to tell, zoom in here, my right side, might look different on camera, is actually thinner, and this you can really tell just because of how much more dark it is on this side. I mean, neither side is good, but this side is darker. So as I was saying earlier, I tend to face people from the left side of my face because I just have more hair than I do on the right. Yeah. So I wanted to share also a technique that I've kind of developed myself because they really didn't tell me very much. They send you a video that sort of describes how you're supposed to apply the different solutions. But it makes you very nervous, and you end up feeling very uncomfortable putting it on, and especially when you feel like your hair is just so brittle that it falls out when you touch it. You don't want to touch it. So so I wanted to show how I've been doing it, and it really seems to help. One, prevent the liquid from falling down your face, which it always did in the beginning, and two, I want you to know that what's going to happen is going to happen, regardless of how vigorous you are with the application of this stuff. So I have my towel here that I use. It's my happy alligator towel. One side is green with white alligators, and the other side is white with green alligators. So I use for the non-treatment days when I'm putting on the scalp protectant, which is this stuff. The stuff that I hate so much, but because it's kind of like a hairspray, and it goes on. It's really more liquidy. So it really runs down the sides of your scalp, and that's what was really, I think, causing acne problems in this area and that area, even as far down as here. You can actually have, I think that's might be a butt pipe. So I use the white side for that because it's a clear liquid, hence the clear bottle. And for the treatment days, green liquid, green side. And so you just wrap it around your neck, and you would be able to do this now with a shirt on, which I never did in the beginning. I never wore a shirt because it just got everywhere. But if you were in a hurry and you needed to get ready for your day, now you can do that. You can wear a shirt while applying this stuff. Okay, so when you do put it in, as I think I told you in my first video or second video, you use 1/3 of the vial at a time. The first third goes into the most affected areas. Second third goes into the non-thinning areas, which will be the back and the sides. And then once again, the final third goes back into the most affected areas. And as you're applying this, watch the technique. Okay, so I start at the top and I sort of circle it in, and then you sort of feed your other hand through it as you're doing it, so that it sort of spreads out evenly, because it's going to drip. It does. No matter how many times I've done this, it drips. So just keep feeding it with your recessive hand through your hair. Try not to use your nails. I've actually started clipping my nails more often. I was always really lazy about that. Okay, so this is the, it's about 1/3 already, maybe a teeny bit more. Okay, and then this is where you rub it in. I'll fast forward through this stuff. Second third goes into the non-thinning areas. And as I said, as it starts to drip, just rub it in with your recessive hand. Try to balance out the dry areas. And this really helps keep the fluid, the medicine, in your hair, on your scalp, where it needs to be. Believe it or not, it doesn't say to do this in the introduction video, so or in the video that comes with the medication. So I kind of had to figure it out by myself, and I wish that somebody had told me this. Fast forward again. Okay, the final third. So your towel, right? So try to find a good towel that covers your shoulders all the way. And if you can get one that has, two different colors, just leave it. I leave it here on this drawer, and I'll use it for like 2 weeks. Let it dry on each side, because you're only using one side at a time. And the fact that it's got multiple colors will help you keep track of which side you've used for which days. I don't like to mix, because 2 different substances, and I don't know what that would do. So one thing I'll also say that's been pro Regenexx, I don't know what it is in the formula that's doing this, but I can feel the sebum, as it's called, not being as, it's not as active in my scalp. And the way I can tell is when I would typically just, I'll try to get it close to the camera and mic so you can hear. Okay, I don't even know if you can hear it at all, but before when I first started using it, it used to make this real like creaky sound, like there was a lot of just buildup, I think it's like a similar sebum is like comes from some, I looked it up, but it's like a similar substance to, say, earwax. And you just make it naturally, and it fills your pores with that goop. The same goop that I showed in my introduction video that was attached to my hair samples that I sent to the Regenexx people. I'll pop it up again. And since I've been doing this, and I'm almost done, I'm in my final month here of phase 2, I hope. Since I've been doing this, I don't notice that sound, that when I'm, especially in the back, anymore. So I really feel as though, just based off the sound and the feeling that you get as you're cleaning as you're massaging it in, I don't feel that there's as much of that like almost tartary buildup in my pores anymore. I think. That's just that's my own observation from having done this every other day for the last 3 months or so. And we will see in a few weeks when I receive my results back about my second hair sample that I have to send in, if that's true, that my follicles have cleared up. And this is what those things look like. I have it in here, I think. Right? Yep, here it is. So you have to attach your hair. Comes with little stickers. There. Maybe it's easier if I hold it up backwards. Comes with stickers, these little green stickers here, and then you attach temples. So like about 5 hairs from each temple, and then 1 from the vertex. 5 hairs from the vertex and 5 from the crown. And then you send that to them, and then they look at your hairs under a microscope. And I'm assuming that they're really my hairs and it's not just some generic sample that they pulled off of Google Images, which very well could be. Could be a whole pyramid scam. Alright, so that's it. So this one is applied. As soon as you're done putting that in, go ahead and use the side of the towel you use for this specific day. And on the non-treatment days, when you're using the scalp protectant, you have to actually let it sit in your hair for like 5 minutes. So I'll just go and watch a little YouTube or something, or put myself together for the day, then come back and dry it off with the white side. There we go. And now I am able to blow dry it. Try not to pull out any extra hairs. So I've actually learned a new technique of how to even dry my hair, just sort of pat it in rather than rub it around, which I still do on the sides because I miss doing it, honestly. So there was one thing that I left off of that note when I was reading it, and that's acne. When Regenexx say that their products don't cause acne, it's a bold-faced lie. All right, the third substance that you apply to your head on your non-treatment days, it's the scalp protectant. It's the stuff that I've said earlier I hate, and I still hate it. It's the one that like seeps into your skin. It's got the same consistency of like a hairspray. Absolutely was causing acne, and I haven't had acne for years. All around this area, into my eyebrows, same over here, same over there, and even a little further down. So if you do what I said just a minute ago, where you use your hand to sort of rub it in as you're applying it, you will find that it will dramatically reduce acne breakouts. So try it out. And like I said earlier, if you can't, the GoFundMe thing, I would very much appreciate just a couple of bucks. But if you can't, please like the video, subscribe. That would be a big help. Thank you so much, and good luck to the rest of you. Peace.